Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly for pricing. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Sky-Dweller in its latest 2021 form on the Jubilee Bracelet. This timepiece represents reference 326934 in a combination of 904L stainless steel with a white gold bezel and the dial that arrived in that form in 2017. So as you can see, the watch is easy to wear, 42 millimeters in diameter by 14 millimeters thick. If you measure lug to lug, it is 50.4 millimeters. If you measure end link to end link, the full distance across the wrist is 52.3 millimeters with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Pop it open on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. Let's take a look. We'll start right over the top, down the barrel, where you can see it's actually not overhanging the edges of my wrist. And then perhaps the most surprising view, the cuff shot, you can see it's not super thick and it has such a large sloping bezel that you could at least try it with a dress cuff. I've fit far thicker watches underneath dress sleeves. I actually think this is suitable for use as a dress watch. I would say that your wrist should probably be 15 centimeters circumference or larger, though on the Jubilee bracelet, it's actually worth trying a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference because I don't think it would be too much of a stretch. Now, taking a look at the Jubilee, long associated with dress watches in the Rolex catalog, it's been around since the debut of the Datejust back in 1945. But 2021 is the first year we can get this bracelet on the Sky-Dweller. I've long commented that the Sky-Dweller of case and bezel looks a lot like a giant Datejust, and now the Jubilee bracelet completes the aesthetic. All solid links, solid end links, solid center links, polished outer faces, satin finished shoulders, polished down the center. Because all the links are solid, it's actually suitable as a sports watch bracelet. There's no need to go with the Oyster or the Oyster Flex strap available on this watch. Get this. It vents better than either of the other two options thanks to the calculated gaps between the links. And you can see here, there is a beak and a hook system, and it latches in place. It's a lift lock clasp. So you lift that up, you unlock it, and it's not a friction fit system. It does latch in place. It can't simply be pulled open. You need to release it first. So there's more than meets the eye right there. You have easy link, snap in, snap out, 5 millimeters of tool-free adjustment, and then if you look inside the clasp, I'll do my best to show you this in limited light. You can see there are 3 divots inside the clasp, so you can use your strap tool to move the spring bar that holds the bracelet inside the clasp. You can move it forward or backwards, so 3 different ways to size this bracelet. The case band is simple, fluid, compound curved. Lug hoods as well as case band are of high polish. Again, this looks a lot like the Datejusts and the Date8s. We have a screw-down crown twin lock. The watch is 100 meters water resistant. We have a 904L case clasp bracelet and then a white gold bezel. So Rolex makes its own cases, clasps, and bracelets, and it makes its own gold and steel because it has its own foundry. So it uses 904L steel, which is more resistant to salt-induced corrosion and acid-induced corrosion than standard 316. And Rolex white gold is gray gold, an 18-karat white gold alloy that's the same color all the way through, so it never needs to be rhodium plated. Now, the timepiece features a bezel that is also part of the caliber 9001 movement. You can see there's nothing to see on the case back. It's solid, but I pull the crown out in the first position. I wind the watch, but then I pull the crown out and you can see nothing happens on the dial. One turn counterclockwise, and now I can move the date as well as the month bidirectionally. Note that there's a little red index, 12 hours representing 12 months. This is an annual calendar that need be adjusted only once a year during the jump from February to March. This was Rolex's first and to date only annual calendar watch. So that little red index will jump, watch, as I turn between 1 and 31. It jumps from January to February, and you can see how you can adjust it in both directions with no hazard to the watch. Now, turn it one more click counterclockwise. Now I have the ability to move the hour hand, which can jump the date forward, but no, it can't jump the date backwards. Minute hand and seconds hand are not affected. The watch continues to run. Now I turn one more click counterclockwise. Now I activate hacking seconds or stop seconds. Everything moves in sync. The minute hand, the hour hand, and that second time zone in 24-hour format. So the way you do this is you set your second time zone first. Say I want to set it to 2 in the morning. Then I turn clockwise, and now I set my local time. That's how that works. The watch features caliber 9001, 40 joules, automatic winding, 70-hour power reserve, 4 hertz beat rate. It has the annual calendar, it has the 1224 dual time capability, the hacking seconds, it has a full balance bridge with a free sprung index for shock tolerance, a winding rotor bearing instead of the older Rolex jeweled staff. That also makes the watch more shock tolerant, having that winding rotor bearing. It's a COSC certified Swiss chronometer that has a handmade Breguet overcoil hairspring that is both resistant to positionally induced timing variation as well as resistant to magnetism. The watch is also tested as a fully assembled product to achieve no worse than -2 +2 seconds per 24 hours of deviation. That is the basis for the Rolex term superlative chronometer. And with this post-2017 dial, you have tons and tons of Rolex Chromolite Blue proprietary lume. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.